then, I guess.
We're traveling now far away from Shafter to this strange waterborne cave in the midst of these rocky marshlands. What will our heroes find in these yawning, watery depths? See you next week. We'll find out. As always, a massive thank you to our incredible cast, Jill, Kelly, and Joe, for playing.
And a huge thank you to Kyle for all of his support behind the scenes and chatting with all of you lovely people watching us tonight. Thank all of you for joining us, and also a very special thank you to our Dungeon Master, Monty Martin, for his incredible portrayal of a terrifying swamp.
A big shout out to Tabletop Audio for providing our ambient music and our intro music. Please check them out, tabletopaudio.com. It's all free and it's a great way to elevate your game.
Of course, don't forget to take a look at the links below for our Teespring store. We can find some of our new amazing t-shirts like the Dusk Wardens and Way Bigger Than Ducks. Of course, all your old favorites there as well. bit.ly/DungeonDudesMerch.
If you are enjoying our stream, please consider supporting our work on Patreon. Patreon helps us continue to make amazing content both here on Twitch and on YouTube and beyond. You can find out how you can support our work by following the links below or at patreon.com/dungeon_dudes.
We also have a phenomenal Discord community exclusive for our patrons. So if you do join us on Patreon, make sure to join us in Discord. You can chat with Monty, myself, and these two guys, as well as Kyle pops in there from time to time, the one and only Hans. So you can chat with all of us in Discord about all of the nerdy things that you want to talk about, all things Drakkenheim, all things D&D, and every other topic that you want. So join us on Discord.
Kelly and I post new videos every Thursday on our YouTube channel where we cover everything Dungeons & Dragons, including advice for Dungeon Masters and guides for players. So please check us out at youtube.com/DungeonDudes.
Be sure to join us live next Tuesday when we record the campaign live on Twitch. Check us out from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time at twitch.tv/dungeon_dudes. You can also watch the video episodes of the show on YouTube.
Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next time in the Shadows of Drakkenheim.
Ja mistähän mä olen sitten maksanut 3,90? Korotinko tän junamatkan ravintolavaunun yläkertaan aivan turha? Täällähän näyttäisi olevan hyvät maisemat. Mutta miten mä nyt näen niitä, kun mä olen selkäikkuna? Tähän kääntyy. Okei.
Kokeilemisen arvoisia junamatkoja osoitteesta vr.fi.
No seuraavaksi joku väittää, että täällä on pöytiin tarjoilu.
Jes, eli tänne oli tilattu lihapullat ja muusi.
Jaha, no kiitos.
VR. Yhteisellä matkalla.
Good evening and welcome back to the Shadows of Drakkenheim. My name is Monty Martin, running the campaign as Dungeon Master for the Dungeon Dudes weekly 5th edition live stream campaign. We are finished with our Untold Tales, and we once again are returning to our actual play campaign, The Shadows of Drakkenheim.
And I'm Kelly McLaughlin, and I will be playing Wilhelm Wolfsbane, the human swashbuckler rogue. And we're joined today by our good friends.
Jill Denitis playing Rudy Whitaker, the shifter Eldritch Knight.
And Joe O'Gorman playing Wrath, the Aasimar Warlock.
Thank you for joining us again. If you're just tuning in for the very first time, boy, have you got a lot of catching up to do, because a lot has happened. This is episode 8 of Shadows of Drakkenheim, happening now in August of 2020, when our previous episode was in early March of 2020. We have had a considerable break, all things considered, but not without good reason. We have been busy during this time, playing the Untold Tales of Drakkenheim, several side stories set in the worlds of Drakkenheim, as we mastered our new setup, which is now fully in place. We are playing our campaign online for the foreseeable future. So for those of you wondering, we will be continuing to play online it's a little jarring for us to jump back on in. So this evening, with this episode, we're gonna have a little bit of a retcon and a little bit of a replay for ourselves. So please, my apologies in advance if there are any inconsistencies between episode 7 and episode 8. It's been a long time, so please bear with us as we gather our strength and gather our party once more and march into
trusty pipe that he keeps packed with him in mouth. And he's thumbing through his book that he keeps at his side at all times. A book given to him by his father. And Wilhelm's thinking back to the fact that this book, which has 100 rules written in it, rules that his father said were rules to live by, the rules that dictate the actions one should take to make sure that they are working towards good and not evil, to make sure that in any situation, whether it be combat or a social situation, or dealing with friend or foe, that you have a set of guidelines to move through those situations.
Good morning.
This is the only thing that Wilhelm has of his family. For during the Civil War of Westermark, he fled. He saw several of his family members die, and he lost touch with several others, and wandered for a very long time before taking refuge in a barn. And he's thinking back to that barn that night that he took refuge there. There was a thunderstorm. And he woke up the next morning to a woman dressed in a red cloak standing over him. He drew his sword expecting a combat. Instead, she met him with kindness and offered him to stay with them. That was 8 years ago. And from that moment on, Ruby, who took Wilhelm in as one of her own, one of her many own, saw to it that he had a place, and Wilhelm put his rules to use in a very simple way. Tierhaven was a very simple place to live, and Wilhelm spent his days working under Ruby, who was kind of the town sheriff. And things were simple then. He was easily able to determine what was right and what was wrong. He was able to use his skills to help people, which is something that his father always told him he should do. He was trained in the art of the sword and the art of the crossbow. And having these skills meant that it was his duty to help those in need, those who maybe did not have these types of skills. So for 8 years, Tierhaven. And then things got strange. And suddenly there was odd magic afoot. And suddenly he was dealing with things that were unlike anything that the rules prepared him for. And before he knew it, he was swept up into an offer to help more people. He heard that the problems that were being experienced in Tierhaven were happening all over Westmark. And it dawned on him that maybe this was the time to put his skills to the test, to put these rules to the test. But as he sits here in this boat, thumbing through the rules, he realizes that the things that he's experienced, there's no rules for this. And it's very concerning to him that in this time he's watched his closest friend, Rudy, chop off people's heads and murder so many horrible monsters. He's seen people mutate before his very eyes. Somebody who he was sure, based on the rules, was somebody he should be defending, turn on him and attempt to kill him. And through this time, it's been a very trying experience to question exactly what is good and what is evil. Nothing prepared him for arriving in Shafberg, where he thought he was simply going to meet with a contact and solve a mystery and move on to helping more people. Instead, he ended up having to fight his way out of Shafberg, killing several townsfolk in the process, doing his best to save those he could, but realizing that his two comrades who he started to get to know, Rudy he's known for 8 years, but he's never known Rudy like this. He's never had to be in a situation where they had to fight their way out. And it's both concerning but also comforting at the same time. Concerning that he's never seen this side of her, but comforting to know that she's as powerful in combat as she is as a personality. And that person that he's put his trust in for 8 years communities continues to protect him, even if it goes against some of his rules. Wrath, who he never really took the chance to get to know, even not understanding how long he's lived in Tierhaven or remembering his name properly. But in the past few days, Wrath has shown both a very peculiar obsession with his cat, but also, specifically the last few days, there were moments that Wrath proved that he actually does have the best intentions of the three of us in mind. And again, although it contradicts several of my rules, Wilhelm is starting to understand that Wrath is an essential part of this equation. The dealings that they have with this magic and these strange creatures is something that Wilhelm couldn't even begin to understand. But Wrath seems to at least have a rudimentary understanding of some of the things happening. And that's so valuable. And so Wilhelm is sitting in this boat, smoking his pipe, reading back over his rules and trying to determine how to use these rules now. But instead of things being so black and white with good and evil, it's gray. Everything's gray. And he needs to learn to understand, to do what's right within that gray. And that's all the things that Wilhelm is pondering as he travels down this river.
The more he breaks away here and there as the veins land begins to claw away in chunks here and there to a larger swamp. For periods of time, the river continues through its course. In others, it almost breaks up and you have to push it through the muck. But the pathway that it leads you draws you somewhat more to the west drains, ultimately leads your river flow back into the Dran River out into the seas, hundreds of miles away. As Wilhelm reads through his notebook, smokes his pipe, Wrath, thoughts lie with you.
Contrary to Wilhelm, the blood of his victims is used to grease the steps of progress as Wrath climbs the ranks of the Amethyst Academy. There is no enemy unknown to both Wrath and Bruce. His loyal companion and also his teacher from beyond, granting him knowledge that goes far through the depths of the cosmos. Bruce has taken the form of a cat who has shown him how to be one of the most powerful wizards within the Amethyst Academy as he greedily climbs the ranks. Wrath, the brother of River, was always in her shadow, and before this mission, this journey, he was a troubled young man, and to gain that aspect, he swore himself to a patron in an unknown realm, not knowing the full effects, but welcoming the power that came with it.
As you consult with Bruce, the form of Bruce has shifted subtly as you get deeper and deeper into the wetlands. Bruce, at first you wonder, did Bruce get hurt? The cat is noticeably larger. The color of its eyes has shifted thin. It's like being inside again.
Well, thank you for watching. Now I'm just gonna grab a coffee and then